They looked you dead in the eye and lied to your face. No fidgeting, no glancing away, no nervous little touch of the nose. And you believed every word, because almost everything you've ever been told about spotting a liar is flat wrong. And here's what makes it worse. This cuts both ways, and both ways cost you. Yes, you've believed someone you shouldn't have. But you've also done the opposite. You've sat across from someone telling the plain truth, watched them fidget, watched their eyes slide away, and decided they were hiding something. You doubted the honest one. Both mistakes come from the exact same habit. You were reading the body. You were trusting the tells. And the tells are a myth. You've been playing this game with the wrong rulebook. So let me hand you the one that professionals actually use. Here's the reframe the researchers actually use. We've all been taught that a lie leaks out through nerves, the sweaty upper lip, the shaky voice, the eyes darting to the exit. But nerves are not the signal. Plenty of honest, anxious people look exactly like that. And plenty of practiced liars are cool as still water. A lie doesn't leak from nerves. It leaks from effort. And that difference, not the fidget, is the crack you're actually listening for. There's a way to use that difference, and it's the whole point of this video. First, though, look at how bad the odds are without it. How good are we at this, honestly? In 2003, a psychologist named DePaulo pulled together the largest review of lie tells ever done. Every supposed signal researchers had studied. Almost none of them held up. No gesture, no gaze, no nose touch reliably signals a lie. Vrij, who spent his whole career on this, says the same. No single behavior reliably gives a liar away. There is no Pinocchio's nose. And it shows in the scores. Bond and DePaulo pooled 206 studies, something like 24,000 separate judgment calls, and people judged truths and lies correctly only about 54% of the time. Half the time is a coin flip. You are barely beating a coin flip, and so are police officers and judges, the people who do this for a living. Here is why. Everyone is staring at the face, and the face does not know the answer. So here is the whole thing in one line. You can't watch a lie, you can only test it. One honest caveat, that 54% is a lab average, so real life shifts it around either way. But the headline holds. Here's where we're headed. 3 specific questions that make a lie buckle. They only work once you see the 2 things going on underneath. But you can start using one right now. Next time a story feels off, ask for one oddly specific detail. Not, how was the trip? But what was the traffic like on the way over? A real memory gives up the small stuff without trying, while a thin story runs dry fast. And that's just the first of the 3, once you see why it works. And if you'd rather understand people than be fooled by them, that's the whole reason this channel exists. Subscribe, and we'll keep turning what the research really says about human behavior into things you can use the next day. But hold on, if we are this bad at catching lies, why did evolution leave us so exposed? It didn't. This part is a feature, not a flaw. A researcher named Timothy Levine has an idea he calls the truth default. Unless something actively trips an alarm, we assume the person in front of us is telling the truth. We're built to believe. And thank goodness we are. Imagine fact-checking every single sentence your coworker, your barista, your own mother ever said to you. Conversation would collapse. You'd never make it out the door in the morning. Trust is the setting that lets people live together at all. And it is right the overwhelming majority of the time. So you were never gullible. You were running an efficient, mostly correct default. The only catch is that the same open door that makes trust possible is the exact door every con artist walks through. They are not beating some superpower of yours. They are borrowing your factory settings. If it isn't nerves, what actually separates a lie from the truth? One thing: effort. This is the heart of it, and it comes straight from Aldert Vrij's work. When you tell the truth, you are just describing something that happened. You remember it and it pours out. When you lie, you have to build. You invent a version of events. You keep it consistent. You make sure it doesn't clash with what the other person already knows. And you watch their face the whole time to see if it is landing, all at once in real time. The truth is remembered. A lie has to be built. And building is expensive. Lying is hard work, and that mental strain is the one thing that reliably leaks. Not through the eyes, through the story itself. The intensity of someone's stare tells you nothing. The weight of their story tells you everything. So here is the move I promised you, the one that takes you from guessing to genuinely reading the situation. Stop watching the face. Test the story. Since a lie runs on effort, you make the story a little harder to tell, and you watch where it strains. Vrij and his colleagues call it raising the cognitive load, and it comes down to 3 questions. You've already got the first one, that oddly specific detail, the small stuff a real memory hands over, while a made-up one goes thin. Now that you can see why it works, here are the other 2. Second, ask the unexpected question, the one they couldn't have prepped for. Someone calls claiming they're from your bank? Ask which branch you opened the account at. The real one answers in a heartbeat. A script stalls. And third, ask for it out of order. Walk me through that again, backwards, from the end. Something you actually lived plays in any direction. A manufactured story only runs one way, and falls apart the moment it can't. That is the whole skill. I call it the load test. You load the story and you listen for the cracks. Not the twitch, not the glance. The cracks in the account itself. One honest limit worth naming, because you have probably heard about it. Back in 1969, Paul Ekman described what he called leakage, a managed feeling that flashes across a face for a fraction of a second. The smile that drops a beat too fast. It is real. But the television version, spot the micro-expression, catch the liar, is badly oversold. A leak only tells you a feeling is being managed. It never tells you what the lie is, or even whether there is one. So treat it as a reason to ask one more question. Never as a verdict. And here's the part nobody tells you. The sharpest read of people in any room isn't the most suspicious person. That person's exhausting, and usually wrong. It's the most curious one. The one who stays warm asks the better question, and is slow to conclude. That person is almost impossible to fool, and almost never wrongly accuses someone who's telling the truth. That's not a personality you're born with. It's a skill, and you just started building it. Now here's how to hold this. The load test is for the moments that genuinely matter, a too good to be true pitch, a deal that doesn't add up, a call with real money on the line. It is not a toy to run on the people who love you. Turn your family into permanent suspects and you don't get sharper. You just corrode the trust, and you'll usually be wrong, because the truth default is right about them. Use it to protect your trust, not to spend it hunting for cracks that aren't there. And the honest note this channel always makes: this is education, not therapy. Reading patterns, never diagnosing anyone. So here's all of it, boiled down. You can't watch a lie, you can only test it. Forget the eyes, forget the crossed arms, forget the nose. The truth is just remembered. A lie has to be built and carried. So when it actually matters, you don't stare harder. You make the story a little harder to tell, and you listen for where it cracks. Here's your one thing to try in the next day. When someone tells you something ordinary, instead of just nodding along, ask one specific follow-up you can tell they didn't rehearse. And watch how easily the truth gives you more, while a thin story starts to strain. That's the entire skill in miniature. Do it a few times, and you stop being a coin flip. Subscribe and keep getting sharper. This is the channel that makes you the hardest person in the room to fool, and the fairest. The human code. The science of why you do what you do.